when you're doing your will, you're in tune with the will of the cosmos and you're riding the wave of the cosmos, pushed along by the universe itself. This is somebody sent me this surfing Jesus. Uh, I don't know who, but it's funny. Anyway, and I'll have to come up with a better slogan for him. Anyway, I'm going to discuss and read sections of one of my favorite, absolutely favorite Crowley works. He wrote it back in the 20s, and soon after he more or less accepted his role as the prophet of the new aeon. So he's thinking seriously about his cosmic role in human consciousness. Okay, and well, it actually in the introduction to the 1925 edition, which was published in German. This book is the instruction of the secret chiefs themselves for the express guidance of the Master Therian. And it is difficult to understand and is obscure, yet through study it will become a miracle of beauty and terror to the earnest seeker in contemplating the wonder and wisdom of those who watch and work. It will illuminate his spirit. Okay. So it's written in a couple sections, and we're only going to talk about one of the sections today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about another one. But the major sections is the vision. That's section 1. And the second one is the voice. Now, this isn't the vision and the voice piece of literature, which is actually his scrying of the 30 Enochian Aethers, which is a magical operation in and of itself, and a magical book in and of itself. But we're going to, for today, pass over the vision part and concentrate on the voice, because it is handy to read this after what we've just been through, reading The Wake World, which is a trip back up the tree of life. And so the voice section of the Heart of the Master is in 2 sections itself. And the first section is the 10 secret joys of the Master, and those are the Sephira, or the Sephiroth themselves, 10 secret joys of the Master, starting at the top and coming down. And the second section is the 22 secret instructions of the Master, and those are the paths going up. So, and just a digression while I got a tree of life up here. Now we know Kabbalistically that Kabbalists just love to view everything as being expressed in the 4 letters of the great name Yod He Vav He, and we've got our Father, Mother, Son, Daughter. We've got the 4 tarot suits, wands, cups, swords, and discs. We've got the 4 parts of the soul. We've got the 4 Kabbalistic worlds, and often we see that expressed using the tree of life diagram as 4 trees of life stacked on top of each other, which is kind of a convenient way to look at it. But if we were going to split one, like master tree of life into Yod He Vav He, it would be like this. Yod would be number 1 and number 2. Now, there's even more detailed way of looking at that, but let's just, for the sake of chicken Kabbalah, let's just say 1 and 2 is Yod, and 3 is He. So within the supernal triad, we've got Yod, He. Now, Vav is this entire section right here. Yod, He, Vav, He. And the headquarters of the Vav is number 6. And then that final He is Malkuth down here. Okay, so we've got Yod, Yod, He, Vav, He, like that. And so that would be the 4 parts of the soul. We got our Nepish there. We got our Ruach here. We've got our Neshama here. And we've got Chai, or the life force itself, right up there. That being said, we're going to talk about the 10 secret joys of the master. It has a little prelude. It is not given to flesh and blood till they be 7 times purged through and through, to dwell in the sanctuary of the heart of the master. My fervor is exhausted, my faith fails. I fall from the rapture of passion that pours through the abyss of space. All things feel it, and the I in it is capitalized. All things feel it. All things live by it. Yet nothing that knows itself can know itself, all things feel it, all things live by it, yet nothing that knows itself knows it as it is. Now that sounds so much like the opening words of the Tao Te Ching. It's absolutely sublime. But I digress. So now I, burning up, yet not burned through, in the glory of that light, vibrating to, yet not vibrating altogether with, the vigor of that pulse, am just so far attuned to the heart of the master that what was pure rapture in that sublime moment of union is translated into what seems a solemn music, born very far through the still air, a voice declaring the secret of the sanctuary to every ear in just such a measure as that ear is able to receive it. Now, the next page shows the diagram of the tree of life, like that. And the 10 secret joys of the master. We've got Constance is out there with a workman today. At first the music is as muffled a murmur of a wind behind impenetrable veils. Now the veils that he's talking about are these 3 veils of the negative right up at top. And they're indicated by 3 zeros. We've got Ain, which is nothing. Ein Sof, which is boundless nothing, and Ein Sof Or, which is boundless light. And in this diagram, they're just in the opposite positions. 3 zeros for Ein, 2 zeros for Ein Sof, and 1 zero for Ein Sof Or. Now, somebody wrote me on Facebook the other day asking me if about Ein Sof and Ein Sof Or. Before there can be a one, okay, there are 3 kinds of nothing. Okay. And I like to look at it as the first I can't even say absolute nothing. The first nothing is so nothing that it cannot be identified even by a noun. It's nothing. That would be Ein. And the next Ein is, or the Ein Sof, which is the next one, is nothing that can be described as nothing. So one thing is, the first one's so nothing that we can't even identify it as a nothing. Second one we can identify, and that would be the boundless nothing. Okay, then the third one is the boundless light, Ein Sof Or. So that's nothing that has the potential of being something canceling out itself. I know that's kind of all abstract and everything else, but it really does make sense, okay? And that third, Ein Sof Or, in a sense has now the potential of collapsing upon itself to form a singularity. And that singularity is number 1. Okay. So, in the 10 Secret Joys of the Master, the 3 zeros says this: nothing only exists and is all things. Then there's a description of what happens next. After a pause of deeply rooted silence, the 2 zeros. There is no limit. So the first one is nothing, but the second one is, hey, there's no limit to this nothing. Then silence again, as if the very bowels of nature were thrilled with stillness. Now it's the single zero, which would be Ein Sof Or. The sum of all is limitless light. Now there is suddenly a gathering together of the essence of silence. It is as a focus to a point. Number 1. There's our point, and there begins the tree of life. Thou art that which choosest to think thyself, immune to all, for it is nothing but a point of view. I'll say that again. Thou art that which thou choosest to think thyself, immune to all, for it is nothing but a point of view. Now there bursts forth a wave of light, and there rolls forth in majesty of thunder. And now we're going to 2. Remember, that's kind of the reflection. Thy name, which is thy word, is the substance of thy will, whose mode of action constitutes existence, chance. Now, let me digress for a second. Thy name, okay, logos, okay, in Greece, this is the name, the vibratory name, which is thy word. The word is the vibration. Thy name, which is thy word, is the substance of thy will, whose mode of action constitutes existence, chance. Existence is shaken into existence by the word, and the word comes from number 2. Then the music swiftly sinks into a low, brooding rapture, solemn and slow. And now, number 3. That which thou createst is thine understanding of love. That which thou createst is thine understanding of love. So remember what I said about the tree of life. 1 is the singularity, but 2 is just a reflection of the singularity, and 3 is the knowledge that there's a difference. There's an understanding that there's a difference between the singularity and its reflection. 1, 2, and 3 is just 1 thinking about itself. And that thinking about itself starts as the vibration of the reflection in number 2, and number 3 is the understanding that the 2 is not the 1. Okay, 3 concepts. It's 1 thinking about itself, understanding itself. Okay, that which thou createst is thine understanding of thy love. Then comes a sudden shaking and confusion, as if the harmony were broken up into innumerable fragments, clashing together. Nor is there any speech articulate until a fearful blast peals forth a trumpeting of majesty. But within the blare of the tempest sounds a voice, steady and stern, yet full of peace and kindness. Now, all this craziness is that area of the veil of the abyss. Because we're moving from the abstract ideal into the world of the actual. We're crossing the abyss. We're flipping the supernal triad into its initial reflection. Number 4. Number 4 is the highest you can get below the abyss. The necessity of the universe is the measure of thy righteousness. That's number 4, sphere of Jupiter. Now there follows martial music, wild and full of rushing fire, because we're moving now to 5, which is the sphere of Mars. Number 5. Movement of the universe is the fulfillment of thine energy. Movement of the universe is the fulfillment of thine energy. Then, and this is blended with the echo of all the former voices and their music, so that the whole abyss is filled with their orchestration to one symphony. And now, number 6. Remember, number 6 is the center of that flipped triad. So it's the direct reflection. 6 is the direct reflection of the singularity itself. The order of the universe is the expression of thy rapture and beauty. Now that fades away into a deep and tender tune, like nightingales beside a waterfall. And the voice comes twittering, because we're going into number 7, right? Right there, Netzach. The sensibility of the universe is the triumph of thine imagination. Quick thrills inform the air, the perpetual choir of myriads of young boys and girls. And now we pop into 8. The mutability of the universe is the splendor of thine ingenuity. Sphere of Mercury. And now again all sound is gathered into one, and an endless monotone of power impregnable, like the trumpeting of an elephant in spring. And now the foundation, Yesod itself. I can't help but think that trumpeting elephant is our friend Ganesha, who is sacred to the moon. The stability of the universe is change, the assurance of thy truth. Then last of all, the sound of music takes the shape of a pure maiden's voice. We're moving into Malkuth, for the princess. Into a pure maiden's voice, and she sings, "The perfection of the universe is the realization of the ideal of thy passion." Lo, in the silence following is my spirit so enlightened at its apprehension of these secret joys of the Master that I was once more lost to myself and lived again for a little while in him. Now, just because it'll only take a moment, I'm going to go through again from Ein Sof, Or, and coming straight down the tree of life. Nothing only exists and is all things. There is no limit. The sum of all is boundless light. Thou art that which choosest to think thyself, immune to all, for it is nothing but a point of view. It's me. These pages stick together. Number 2. Thy name, which is thy word, is the substance of thy will, whose mode of action constitutes existence. Chance. 3. That which thou createst is thine understanding of thy love. 4. The necessity of the universe is the measure of thy righteousness. 5. The movement of the universe is the fulfillment of thine energy. 6. The order of the universe is the expression of thy rapture of beauty. 7. The sensibility of the universe is the triumph of thine imagination. 8. The mutability of the universe is the splendor of thine ingenuity. 9. The stability of the universe is change. The assurance of thy truth. 10. The perfection of the universe is the realization of the ideal of thy passion. Now, several times I think during Monday night class, we've handed out blank trees of life, and we've put those major landmarks and those short little sentences, we've written them right over the top of each of the Sephira, 1 through 10, coming down. And it gives a wonderful, personalized, intimate point of view of the descent of the tree of life, the descent of consciousness down the tree of life, in a very beautiful sort of right hemisphere way of looking at things, rather than purely looking at things as planetary spheres or pure numbers or something like that. So have fun with this. Tomorrow we're going to continue with the 22 secret instructions of the master, and as you can guess, those are probably going to be associated with the concepts and images of the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the 22 trumps. And in this beautiful edition of The Heart of the Master, we have kind of very well printed halftones of all of the tarot cards. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow, if all goes well, if I survive the day. Please remember the invocation workshop coming up on Wednesday the 25th. Please, the information and the registration is all over my Facebook page, shamelessly. But I really don't want you to miss it. Please, if you planned on registering eventually, please register early, okay? And if you can't, if you're unable to join us live at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday the 25th of August, don't worry. It will be recorded, the entire thing, video recorded, and all the people who register will immediately get the link to that, or soon after the live workshop. But the live workshops are kind of important because they contain within it a little meditation, and it's nice to think that we're all joined together at that time. But if you can't make it, or if you're in a part of the world where it's just too late or too early in the day to do it, don't worry. You'll get the full recording of it. It comes with your registration. Okay? Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.